guys, it's Ariana. Welcome back to my channel. So for tonight's video, we're going to be reading some more scary stories. But before I jump into the scary stories, I do want to give a big thank you to TTDI for sponsoring this video and sending me a bunch of their contacts. So I have worked with TTDI. Oh my God, I can never say their name. I used to call them tie-dye for some reason. I don't know where I came up with that, but no, it's TTDI. They've sent me a bunch of their contacts in the past, and I have worked with them in the past, and they're a great brand. I would never come on here and talk to you guys about a product that I didn't actually like and didn't actually use myself. So as you guys should know from my Instagram and TikTok and Reels section, I do a lot of fantasy style makeup. So I love when contact brands reach out to me because I always need contacts. And contacts don't last forever. They last about 1 month to 12 months, depending on how well you take care of them. And I go through contacts like crazy. So they sent me 4 different pairs, and I'm really excited to show you guys them. They also included a set of stick-on nails and a glitter gem set. The nails are really cute, but not something that I would actually use myself personally because I have like acrylics. But I mean, if that's your jam, it's really nice that they threw that in there. They also threw in 4 cases so that I can store the contacts. They look like this, which is really great because you can always need contact cases. And I have like a billion of them, but it's nice because then I can go through and recycle the ones that are really old and gross. They also sent me a cute little mirror, so that's always great. It's really nice when they send in little goodies. So the contacts that I picked were the ice blue color, the ice green color, the cosmos green color, and the edge gray color. But I'm gonna quickly try these on and do a close-up for you guys so you guys can see what they look like on me with my amber-ish hazel eyes, so you guys can see what they look like on a darker eye color, because it is hard sometimes to get contacts if you have dark eyes like me. So these were all of the contacts that I picked. You can definitely order darker blues and darker greens and darker pinks and purples if that's what you need. And if you have lighter eye colors than what I personally have, it may look a little bit more realistic. It may look a little bit brighter. These are just the colors that I chose, and I think every one of them looked really cool and really great. You could still see a little bit of my brown peeking through, but I kind of just have that problem with all contacts that I've ever tried. They're never going to cover my brown eyes perfectly. They also offer prescription contacts. If you guys do wear prescription glasses like I do, there is a little section on the side where you can put in your prescription and you can order it from your eye doctor and get contacts that are set to you. However, they do not offer astigmatism, and that's what I have. So it's kind of a roll of the dice if you're going to get prescription contacts that actually work for you or not. These ones, I personally wouldn't go out and drive in them because I have astigmatism, but they are set to my actual prescription. So I really like this brand. This brand has worked with me a couple times now, and I'm very, very excited that they reached out and wanted to replace a bunch of my contacts that I ran out of. So thank you so much to TTDI. I do also have a discount code for you guys. I will also list it right here for you guys. It'll also be listed in my description box down below with all of their other discounts that they're offering at the moment. So let's jump into the spooky stories. Okay guys, so I am back. It is like the next day. I filmed another video after I did the intro to this video with all of the contacts. So that video is already up, but this is the contacts that I decided to wear for this video. I picked the green ones. These ones are really pretty, really fun, and definitely cover enough of my brown eyes to give a greenish look. So I think these ones look really cool, and I'm really excited to not only be working with TTDI again, but the fact that I now have more contacts to wear because I was running out. The first story that I'm gonna read is from the Paranormal Encounters section. It is from the Reddit author Horrible World, and it's titled Living with a Ghost. Does anyone here live with a ghost, or have you ever lived with one? If so, what is it like? I lived in a haunted apartment for 9 years. My first experience was in the middle of the night when I got up to go to the washroom. The washroom was at the end of the hallway, and it was in the middle of the night, so I didn't really bother turning on lights or closing the bathroom door. As I was sitting on the toilet, I saw an old man standing in the middle of the hallway, just staring at me. A short while later, I was in the kitchen cooking food, and I was alone standing by my stove, when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I hear a loud bang from behind me. It was the sound of a pot or a pan falling to the floor, but as soon as I turned around, the sound was gone, and there was nothing on the floor anywhere that could have made that noise. Another time, we had a friend over, and he doesn't believe in the paranormal at all. And while he was over, all three of us stood at the end of the hallway, and I saw the handle of our locked front door being pulled up and down really fast. And it didn't stop. So we went over to the door to see who was being so aggressive with it, and we looked out the people, and there was no one there. You could hear everything in the stairwell too. So if there was someone there, we would have heard them run away. To this day, the friend that doesn't believe in the paranormal can't explain what happened. I've also experienced someone tugging on my clothes when I've been home alone or when my partner was in another room. I've woken up to the sounds of heavy breathing after my partner has already gone to work. I've also been awoken to the bed shaking, as if someone was standing literally next to it, shaking it. And in one time, in the months of living there, I was home alone and I was in the bedroom with my door closed when I heard heavy footsteps from the hallway outside. I called out my partner's name to see if he somehow had come home without me hearing, but he wasn't home and no one answered me. I stayed in the bedroom until my partner came home that night. Another time, we had our skeptic friend over and he was in the living room when we heard a loud rattling sound from the kitchen, like a box full of glass bottles rattling, and we went to see what could have made that sound. There was absolutely nothing in the kitchen that could make or mimic that noise. Our skeptic friend couldn't explain that one either. And more times than I can remember, I've seen the shadows or shapes of this man standing in the doorframe from the hallway in the living room, just staring at me. He also knew that my closest friend was terrified of him, so he would always mess with her when she was alone in our apartment. Every time, without fail, the minute she became alone, the lights would begin to flicker and the lamps would start slowly swinging. And the flickering lights would happen from time to time, and the lamps and bulbs were all fine, and there was never anything wrong with the wiring. I would also misplace things all the time, and look everywhere for them. Since I never felt that this old man haunting the apartment was evil, I eventually started asking him for help when I couldn't find something. And every single time I asked him for help, the thing I was looking for would turn up in within 30 minutes. And it would always turn up somewhere in the hallway, and always in a spot where I've already looked at least once. Last summer, I started cleaning out a closet in the hallway. The door to the closet was on the one side of the hallway, and on the opposite side of the door was my bedroom. So from time to time, I would see the door to the closet. And during the few days it took me to clean out that closet, I kept the closet door open. And every night and morning from the bed, I felt watched, like someone or something was in my closet watching me. And out of the corner of my eye, I would see a head from the left side of the closet. I never felt any ill will from the ghost man, and I felt like we lived in peace together for those 9 years that we shared our apartment. But when I started to clean out the closet to prepare for my move, his energy changed. The head staring at me from the closet every night and morning felt angry, and it felt like I was abandoning him. I actually did feel a little sad leaving him, since I never had to feel lonely in a good way in that apartment, and he also helped me find a lot of misplaced things. I'm pretty sure he was the reason a lot of those things got misplaced in the first place too. On the last day of the move, when I went through every empty room of the apartment and I went to lock the door for the last time, I made sure to say goodbye to him and thanked him for our time living together. After all, he never did torment us, and it felt like he just wanted to be acknowledged and let it be known that the apartment was also his too. It's been 6 months since we moved from that apartment now, and no one new has moved in there yet. And to be totally honest, I sometimes miss the old ghost friend who would play pranks on my friends and help me find lost stuff. About 98% of the hauntings happened close to or in that hallway, so he had some special connection to it. I haven't been able to find any information about who he was or when he was alive. Since I was a child, I've always been able to see and feel the presence of the paranormal, but I've never tried to expand my gift. Maybe I should. Feel free to use all of the information or just use the parts that you want in your video. And feel free to ask me any questions if you want. So I don't have any questions that I want to ask you, but all of that is really, really like heartfelt. I'm happy that that's like not a terrifying story and that's just like a nice story. But I do feel kind of sad for the ghost. Like nobody's moved in since you guys left 6 months ago. So he must be so lonely, and that just makes me sad. But thank you so much for allowing me to read your story. Your story was really great. And again, even though it wasn't like super scary or anything, it was still like a nice story to add. The next story that I'm going to read is again from the Paranormal Encounter section, and it's from the Reddit author Casual Disastering, and it's titled, Weird Things Happening in My Home Lately, and I Experienced It by Multiple People. Things all started about 3 months ago in my relatively new build home that had flooding and required basement renovations. There was one previous owner that I'm still familiar with and just a regular family, and I have lived here for 11 years. I was lying in bed with my girlfriend one evening when my acoustic guitar in the corner on a stand strummed a single string very loudly. My girlfriend and I both looked at each other and were like, "Did you just hear that?" We joked it was a ghost and said, "Do it again." Nothing happened, so we cuddled back up and laid there for about 5 minutes, talking about it, and then it happened again. This was at like 2 p.m. in the afternoon on a Saturday. My children are entirely unaware of what had happened, and they were at their mother's when this had occurred. And then one day, my preteen told me that he was with my daughter in the kitchen, standing to the rear left of him, out of the corner of his eye, by the kitchen table. He turned and saw her for 1 second, but then she disappeared. He thought she was playing a joke on him as it was early Sunday morning. When he couldn't find her, he realized she was still fast asleep in bed, and there was no way for her to sneak past him out of the kitchen. I said he may have just thought he saw her out of the corner of his eye, but it still creeped me out a bit. I was also in the kitchen with my girlfriend one weekend making breakfast when all of a sudden there was a loud bang on my countertop, like someone slammed their fist into it with anger. It rattled my coffee machine and my stand mixer visibly. That part of the counter was right above my built-in dishwasher, which was empty, and we agreed the sound was not below the counter level, but right on the surface, despite nothing falling. We can never explain what had happened. I'm a heavy sleeper, but when it comes to my kids, if they're even sniffling different when they are in their bed with a cold, it can wake me up, as I know they are awake. Sometimes they will call for water, or because they are stuffed up, etc. in the middle of the night. 3 nights in the last 2 weeks, I've been woken up from the sound of my kids calling me, non-urgently, and finding them asleep. This has never happened before, and I brushed it off as a weird dream, and I didn't mention it to anyone. Last week, my 10-year-old daughter came into my room just after midnight to ask why I went back to bed, as it was a school morning. I was fast asleep for about 2 hours, but apparently, I told her to wake up for school, and she went to actually have her shower and get dressed and get ready. It's starting to add up, and I'm not entirely a believer in the paranormal, but I can't explain what's been going on here. Just the thought of a few additional odd things that have also happened lately. The wipe I used for my glasses completely disappeared after I placed it on my kitchen table. I looked all over for it, and it never did turn up. My car and house keys disappeared one day after I came home from dropping the kids off at school. I usually place the keys on my kitchen counter in the corner, and I turned my house upside down for 3 hours before I found them in between stacked boxes, in a place I would never have put them. The remote start on my car has triggered on 4 different occasions randomly in the last month. This is when the keys are not on me or on the counter with nothing nearby. I noticed as all of a sudden I would see headlights on my driveway and discover my car idling. My girlfriend has also stated on a few occasions when we're both really relaxed on the couch reading together that she can hear the faint sound of music. It happened randomly a few times during the night or in the day. She never has experienced it before and has only ever experienced it here. I've never heard the music, but we looked for the source without any success. Ooh, that sounds like you have a lot of hauntings going along in your apartment. I'm really curious what that could be. It sounds very much like there's a mimic or something that is mimicking your family members in your house, because the fact that you're hearing either your kids' voices or they're hearing your voices is just really alarming, and that's really scary. And I'm curious if you have any more updates. If you have any more updates, feel free to message me and I'll definitely read more of your stories, but that's really freaking creepy. And honestly, I hope that it goes away, because anything to do with like little kids freaks me out when it comes to this type of paranormal thing. I don't ever want kids to have to experience this. That just kind of scares me. From the Paranormal Encounter section again, it is from the Reddit author Afton's Agony, and it's titled, Have One, Sorry If It's Short. A few months ago, before Hurricane Michael hit, I was staying at my grandmother's house, and it was a small neighborhood in Panama City. The house itself was apparently full of evil spirits, as my grandmother had seen several spirits there, none to which I've ever seen though. Whenever I stayed there, I slept in the guest room. The door to the bed was always aligned with the door, which I kept open for some reason that I can't really remember why. I slept all night until sometime between 5 and 6 in the morning. When I woke up, it was still kind of dark. I looked up to the door and I saw what I used to describe as a stereotypical death. It wore a cloak, a giant eagle skull for a head, and it had glowing red eyes. It stood in the doorway and stared at me, and I felt frozen, as if I couldn't move and just do anything but just stare back. After what felt like an eternity, my grandmother woke up and went to go to the bathroom. Her room was right next to mine, and so was the bathroom. The bathroom light flooded into the hallway, and when it hit this spirit, or whatever, the spirit went translucent as if it wasn't fully there. And then, once she was done, she walked right through the figure, which made me completely jump, and asked me if I wanted pancakes in a chipper voice, and I went on through the rest of the day. I never had any paranormal experiences ever before that, or after that, and I never went to that house again because Hurricane Michael destroyed it in a few months later. That's really scary. I wonder if death was just visiting because of the impending doom of the hurricane. That's the only theory that I could come up with that, but that is really weird. Or it was a weird form of sleep paralysis. But either way, that's a very interesting story. Thank you so much for allowing me to read it. And this is where I'm going to end the video. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please feel free to leave me your favorite eye emoji. I think there's only one eye emoji. Leave me an eye emoji in the comments down below to go with the fact that we have a sponsor for this video. So thank you so much again to TTDI for sponsoring this video and sending me those amazing contacts. Like I said in the intro, I would never come on here and recommend something to you guys that I didn't fully support and didn't fully love. And I do love colored contacts, and I do wear colored contacts myself personally. So I was really excited when they reached out and they wanted to work with me again, because this is like the third time now that I've worked with them, and they are really great. I think the contacts look really pretty, and I'm very excited. So I will post my discount code down below in my description box. I will post it on the screen as well for you guys. I believe it's TwistedGlam20. So if you guys are interested in picking up some contacts, you guys can save some money. They did say that it was an affiliate code. So I do believe if you guys use it, I do get money back eventually. I'm not entirely sure how affiliate codes work, but don't feel any pressure to use it. All of my affiliate codes are listed down below in my description box. So if you guys want to save some money on any of the codes that I have codes for, feel free to take a browse. And thank you so much for watching this video. Again, thank you so much to TTDI, and thank you to all the authors that allowed me to read your guys' creepy stories. Again, this wasn't the most scary video, but this was all true stories, and I love the true ones. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys at the next video. Bye.